Behind The Herald Headlines with Daron Mann.
The lead story in your Herald for Wednesday, the 9th of February 2022. Free for all at Metro Car Fleet Depot. Broken trucks gathering dust, missing vehicles, and a shocking lack of security revealed in an oversight visit. For more on this story and others, go to heraldlive.co.za.
Each one of us has a story to tell and a story to share. A story that deserves to be heard. A story that inspires, motivates, and gives people a reason to keep going. A story about our triumphs as individuals and as a team. A story about our humble beginnings and what the future holds for us. A story about our heritage and that which brings us together. It is these stories that connect us. The Herald. Whatever you live for, we live to tell that story for you.
We're talking about water woes for Nelson Mandela Bay in this week's Behind the Herald Headlines with Daron Mann. Municipal water supply for the bay, not what it should be. It is brown, it has a pungent smell, but you can drink it. Or so says the Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality. Many residents across the city have battled without water for several weeks, and those lucky enough to have the precious resource are too scared to drink from what is flowing from their taps. And social media is awash, if you'll excuse the phrase, with more and more people venting about the discoloured water. Joining us this morning on Behind the Herald Headlines, we have our water expert, Mr. David Raymer. David, thank you for joining us. Maybe just outline your experience when it comes to water and what it is that you're doing these days.
Yes, thank you, Daron. Good morning. I worked 27 years at the Nelson Mandela Bay, former Port Elizabeth Municipality, and all my experience there was in water supply. The last 15 years, I've been working for Uhambisu Consult, and a fair amount of my work is still involved with water.
David, the municipality says the water's fine. All you have to do is boil it and use it. Of course, that doesn't resolve the issues regarding geysers and fridges with water filters. Your thoughts on this problem we're facing?
The aspect of the water being safe to drink, there are two aspects to it. The one is the microbiological standard. In other words, that there's no E. coli or coliforms in the water, a limited amount of bacteria. And that's what the disinfection process does. In the metro, it's using chlorine gas as the disinfectant. So that's to make the water safe from the microbiological point of view. But from a chemical point of view, there's also the SANS standards that the metro has to comply with. When the water is discoloured, first of all, we must differentiate between the brown colour and the white colour. The white colour is actually just air entrainment in the water. Sometimes air gets into the reticulation system and it's under pressure, and it forms minute, very small droplets. So if you put the white water into a beaker or basin and you let it stand for a minute, it clears as that air comes out the water. So there's no problem with the white water. The brown water, as the metro has said, is from sediment in the reservoirs. And when the reservoir gets too low, the sediment that's lying on the floor gets picked up. And that, I think, is the problem that's happened here. What's in that sediment, chemical analysis will tell us, and then from that we can work out if it's bad for your health or whether your health would not be affected.
David, if I might ask, the water where you live at the moment, are you experiencing problems or is your water supply fine?
Now, I live in Warmer and I don't have any problems.
Would you advise, David, that residents drink the water or boil it first before use? Let's look at brown water first and then white water secondly. From your earlier reply, I'm guessing the white water would be fine. The brown water, if it comes out of your taps, do you drink it? Do you do washing with it? Do you wash up with it? What can you do?
I would not drink it. I would shower in it maybe, but I would not drink it, and I wouldn't cook with it as well.
And the reason for the problems that we're facing, is it really down to the ongoing drought and we're reaching low levels in terms of our dams? Is it because of aging infrastructure? Or is it because during the process of disinfection, testing and monitoring, a problem has crept in there?
I think the problem is that the Metro hasn't emptying and cleaning the reservoirs. The reservoirs are meant to be cleaned every 5 years, and not just cleaned, but also inspected, because you might have joints in the reservoir that leak.
What would you advise residents who get brown water or white water coming out of their taps? As I said, it's more than just a drinking problem. The water is used for other purposes as well.
Okay, normally it's like a passing phase. So you've actually got to wait for the water to become clear again. And what the Metro normally do is, when they have a lot of complaints in a certain area, you open the fire hydrants and flush the water mains to get rid of the discoloured water.
How long do you anticipate we'll be dealing with this problem and before it'll be sorted out?
Normally, it's just a sporadic event that happens, and then so it's normally, I would say, within 2 days.
You heard from the expert, our water expert, David Raymer, joining us on Behind the Herald Headlines today. In a nutshell, if the water is white in colour, it'll be fine. You can drink it, you can use it. If it is brown in colour, it requires chemical analysis, and David's advice is not to use the water if it comes out of your taps and through the system brown in colour. We need to wait this out, and hopefully the problem will be restored within the next little while. David, thank you for joining us. Have yourself a great day. Water problems in large parts of Nelson Mandela Bay under the spotlight today in Behind the Herald Headlines with yours truly, Daron Mann. We're catching up with Municipal spokesperson Mtabanzi Niki. He insisted the water was safe to drink last time we spoke to him. Mtabanzi, early in January, we were told it was a result of the ongoing drought that caused the water issues in Nelson Mandela Bay. And because the dam levels were so low, this led to sediment creeping into the pipes and coming out of the taps. Is that still your position? Good morning.
Good morning, and good morning to the listeners. It's still the case. What is giving us problems is we were extracting water far below from time and time again. Our reservoirs keep on drying out. We have to refill, drying out, and we have to refill. So that actually causes some particles that are lying below our reservoirs to be extracted and get into our system. And in some instances, it's as a result of burst pipes. As you know, that some of our infrastructure underground is a bit old. We're working to revamp it, replace wherever we can. So yes, that's still the case. We are still trying to do some balancing act there with the available finances to make sure that our system is up to standard and then carries clear, clean water right through to your tap at home.
So it's a combination of the drought and aging infrastructure, if I read you correctly. What would your advice to residents be? Must they boil the water first before use?
The boiling of water before use has always been an advice, even long years ago, that's the safest that you can do. We also advise that. And secondly, we are working now, as we are talking to you, starting from yesterday, to flush out the system. Although that process is wasting a bit of water, but we were forced to take that decision, flush out the system so that the particles that are within the system can just flush out so that we can continue as normal. But boiling water has always been the safest thing to do if ever you are not 100% sure of the water safety. But tests have been made already within the municipality. No danger per se has been identified in the water that we have. It's just that our water is not desirable. It might be safe, but not desirable for now. But we are flushing it out now. Areas like Newton Park, for instance, we can expect by midday, all the water in that area will be clean, moving to Malapa and Westering.
Would you drink the water that came out of your tap at your home, as it is?
It's a sort of a personal question, you know? And for me, if you are asking it at that level, me as Mtubans, it's a bit of an interesting question because I grew up drinking water of that color all my childhood life. So it's a personal question. It's not sort of an institutional and municipal question that I have to answer. That's why I was saying it's undesirable but safe to drink. For me, I would drink it if I have the only option to drink that water. But it's a personal issue. It differs from person to person.
Mtabanzi, you have said that by midday, today, Wednesday, the 9th of February, Newton Park will be sorted out and you'll be moving on to the other areas. In addition to needing water to drink, people also need to use it for washing, for example. And I did speak to an irate housewife earlier on who told me that the water colour was affecting particularly the whites when she was washing water. It's an issue that affects many people. Your comment?
Yes, that's true, of which the municipality seriously apologizes for that inconvenience. But we've met yesterday afternoon with the guidance of also the city manager, Ms. Mwazi. We've decided that there must be an alternative. We cannot keep on saying the water is safe. There must be an alternative. People pay for this water and under these difficult economic circumstances. So we've decided as the city that we will deploy tankers in the affected areas. So we are busy with that this morning and we'll be announcing where exactly are the tankers placed during the course of this morning so that people can get an alternative water supply. Because you cannot convince someone that discolored water is safe, and yet if the person is not convinced, there's nothing you are doing about it. It's a show of an uncaring government. So we had to decide to have an alternative because it's not a luxury. It's a life situation, the issue of water.
Mtabanzi, as you said, the municipality has dispatched water tankers to various areas. Are you able to confirm where those water tanks would be today or not?
We'll confirm this morning. I was talking to my colleague from Water Services, the Acting Executive Director, Mr. Tsatsiri, confirming that they are doing their mapping now so that they can dispatch them this morning, and they will be giving me the list and the places where the tankers are placed. I don't want to say within an hour, but we will talk to you guys and the fellow members of the media to spread the word, and we'll also post that information on our social media pages as the municipality.
Water problems in Nelson Mandela Bay. Hopefully they'll be resolved shortly. Thank you very much for joining us on Behind the Herald Headlines. Municipal spokesperson Mtabanzi Mniki. Have a good day, Mtabanzi.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Again, please, I want to say this. We apologize for this inconvenience. We understand, we know how it feels to be in this situation. We know we are also affected, some of us. My colleague stays in that area of Newton Park. She's affected as well. So we apologize as a city. We are working to sort it out as quickly as possible. Thank you very much.
That was today's edition of Behind the Herald Headlines with Daron Mann.